Welcome back, everyone. Are we rolling, Jay? Sorry. Yep. Episode number 31, gentlemen. Bailey Talks.
31?
Few of the boys are back. Blakey's here, Kai's here, and Buddy's here. Yeah. Kai's been on annual leave for good reason, Kai.
Yeah, I have.
We just wanted to say congratulations on behalf of Bailey Talks.
Thank you. Thanks for the present as well. That was so
a fresh dad, mate. Mate, it's still coming. I clicked express post, didn't I?
Yeah, surely.
Shit.
Nah,
did you give it to him?
Best thing ever.
No, congrats, bro. What's life been like for you, mate, the last couple of weeks?
It's been the best thing ever.
Yeah, wow.
You can't describe it until you go through it, really. Like, I'm very grateful for everything that's kind of happened in the last, probably the start of the year. Like, there's been a massive learning curve in regards to, like, time, definitely. And, like, I even spoke to you probably as it happened, and I was like, look, this is going to be probably bigger than I'm even anticipating, and it definitely has been. And I can probably see why young men in particular might find it daunting to kind of go into that realm, because it's like, if you weren't prepared for it, it would definitely catch you off guard. Yeah. Like, your lifestyle changes, like your commitments change, like what you probably once had as spare time is just going into
your golf career has been put on hold, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You're still finding a bit of time for that, though.
Like, I'm still at 18.
Yeah, okay.
It hasn't plummeted.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not great.
No. It's not a confident 18.
I was out there, like, we ran into Nick out at Belmont, and he was like, mate, you used to grind. Like, where you been? And I'm like, I'm grinding my teeth at night, baby. That's what I'm doing. There's not much else I can do. But, that's the...
Don't let it blow out, though. Do not let the handicap blow out.
No. And
hang on.
Held Blake to the last hole last week.
Cash games?
Yeah, cash. No, he always seems to, like, tell him, I'm off +5.
True.
And it's like, you get to -8 or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea what any of this is.
And this podcast is about Buddy. So
Anyway, but that's... Being a dad's the best thing ever.
Man.
Yeah, and eventually everyone will, like, hope. I would not... Like, I would never tell people to not do it, obviously.
Mate, Jacob's got a third baby on the way. Have you got a mic? No, okay. But you do. It's okay. You can just yell. If we really need to hear you say something, you can
third on the way.
Third on the way.
Definitely the last one.
Definitely the last one.
That's it.
Yeah. But you don't have
we
kids,
need to get Jake a microphone.
That's okay. He's sacrificed.
I like his voice. It's like...
He's sacrificed for you, mate, because you're back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm back. And I've got the A-cam here too.
And we got Buddy Hanlon in the building. Buddy, welcome to Bailey Talks, mate. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I've been... we were excited to get you on for a number of reasons. Obviously, local Novocastrian, love the footy like us, but hectic kickboxing fighter as well, mate. And you've had a busy last couple of months. I know there was a big win earlier this year, and then this weekend just gone. There was images everywhere. You bloodied up. There's stitches on your head. You were just showing me the massive cut in your head. Yeah. What went down on the weekend, mate?
It was a first loss in a while, so it was a bit of a tough pill to swallow. But you can't win them all. I got a fight down in South Australia, which was pretty interesting because I've never been down to South Australia before. So pretty quick. Like, we fly in on the Friday and you're out Sunday morning, so you don't really get to see.
In and out.
Yeah, you don't really get to see a whole lot down there. But from what I saw of the 2 days I was there, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like the port of Adelaide where we stayed. It's kind of like Newcastle a little bit. So But just sort of flew in Friday, fought Saturday, and back out Sunday. So.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into more on that fight weekend gone. What went into that? I love hearing about preparation mentally, physically. Yeah. But boys, there's been some big news today. Obviously, Origin teams have been announced. I just wanted to get your overall thoughts from anyone and everyone. In terms of my opinion, look, it was pretty. If you're asking. Look, boys,
Jeez, Bailey, what do you reckon?
Let me start it off, boys. Right,
we could have restarted that.
It's my podcast, so I don't care what anyone thinks. So, I think the Blues have listed a pretty good side. Dylan Edwards obviously picked over Teddy. To'o and Lomax, I think, picked themselves. Crichton and Latrobe, you can't leave out. The big interesting point was Luai being... You all love footy, but you love footy, so I'm not just gibbering here. Okay. No. Luai getting left out for Moses. Yeah. That was interesting, in my opinion. I would have picked Luai personally, left foot kicker. Yeah. But I guess from what Moses did last year, he picks himself there.
Gosh, he's a good kicker,
mate. Really good. Yeah. And I think Origin is a lot about kicking.
Yeah.
Their forward pack, Payne Haas is questionable. Reece Robson, he's tough as nails. all the others you've seen before. Connor Watson gets another run.
14,
I think he'll go strong. And Hudson, Spencer, 2 maniacs. They'll be good. And Maxi King from the Dogs.
I like that.
Which is a good pick because if you're going off form, obviously the Dogs are that in-form side.
How's all the Terrell May stuff?
Mate, did you watch the stream?
Yeah.
Him online? Bit weird, hey?
Oh,
Do you reckon that plays a part in him not getting picked?
100%. I watched the press conference with Laurie Daly this morning, and
What
when he
happened
was
with that?
asked...
He plays, is it Call of Duty?
He's like he loves his
streaming.
like Twitch streaming or whatever it is, and I don't know. One of the boys asked him about the Blues jersey or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, you can chuck it in the bin. Like, haven't you seen what's been like said?"
Was
like,
that
I'm not
pre
making
or
it.
post?
Way pre.
Pre.
Oh,
But
okay,
he
right.
must have
Pre.
obviously known. Like,
Yeah, you get the
You know,
inside.
social media is like that gets blown up,
Yeah.
enlarged, and
anyway,
Now, Terrell
like-
May doesn't really strike me as someone that gives a fuck about it, what anyone
No, he actually
nah.
he doesn't. I think that's probably related to why he
Has to be.
left the Roosters. But
yeah,
anyway,
true,
like
true.
yeah.
So that really strong side there, gents. And then obviously Queensland team, good to see a couple of names there. Local KP getting picked. I think that's a great selection. Robert Toyer, your Chookies
Yeah,
centre.
he's good.
Billy's picked him. I think that's going to be
Defense.
very interesting.
He's-
Him matched up with the centres.
His matchup earlier in the year, he kind
Trell.
of, I felt like he did a job on Trell. Like,
Yeah, he did.
as good as you could do. Like, he's so good.
He did. Good to see. Curdy Mann was listed as 18th man. Hopefully he gets around. Trent Leroy, Sunshine Coast lad from the Melbourne Storm. I think Melbourne obviously going well. Bowie Firma, tough as nails, runs a good line on the edge. Lindsay Collins, Tommy Dearden. It should be a very good matchup, gents. What are our predictions for game 1?
Come on, buddy.
know.
Kick us off.
To be honest, this year I haven't really been following the footy heaps, but I mean, even when you're not much of a footy fan, State of Origin's always just so entertaining.
It's a big one, isn't it?
They all up the ante so much more when they're playing for their state. So,
Mate, it's going to be
mate.
so
I mean,
good.
you can't not being from New South Wales. You can't not.
Of
back the
course.
Blues.
Now,
So-
I'm not going to lie. I don't watch Origin.
What?
Never watched a full
Mate,
Origin.
Mate,
That's
for
the biggest lie.
someone who loves
Swear on my
footy,
life. Swear, I cross my heart. Ask my brothers.
Mate, you
everyone, I
always talk
don't
footy
watch
to me.
Origin.
that's not
I'm
makes
sitting
possible.
no
here
sense.
and I'm like, that's the same team
Now that
as
he's become a
last year.
dad,
I'm pretty
Blake,
sure.
he's
I don't.
changed.
I seriously don't watch Origin.
Bro.
I don't.
For someone, I don't watch that much
That's
footy,
I
and I
swear.
always watch Origin.
Never watched it. I actually
makes no
find
sense,
it like,
mate.
You know that's bad.
I don't get the hype around it. Not even joking. You can ask anyone.
You talk to people who follow Aussie rules,
Yeah.
and even they will be like, "Oh, you know,
I don't
one
know.
time of the
I
year,
don't-
I'll even watch Origin."
I don't know. I don't
Mate,
even watch that. Like,
mate,
I watch
you're
the
talking
night.
rubbish.
No. So Wednesday comes around. You've just cooked dinner.
I'm
You've
telling.
just cooked dinner.
No,
you've
like
put Isla
I'll
to
go
bed.
deeper. I'll go darker than that. My nan and pop love Origin. And everyone gets around there and watches it, and I don't start the car to go
Really?
around. I don't watch it.
What?
I do not watch it.
It's such a
I
good
just don't
excuse.
find it like
Why?
that.
Yeah.
I don't have this massive thing about it. I don't know if
Okay.
it's just.
It's
That's
just
fine,
I
mate.
just-
We're not-
it's a good game.
We're not going to
of
sit
footy.
here and
Yeah.
judge you,
No.
because it's the best day of the year,
I could help that
basically.
my
like-
attention span is about
Yeah.
that big. So like I can't just sit there and watch a game of footy, let
Mate,
alone.
but
like,
if you have a multi on, you can watch it. It just makes that game just a little bit nicer.
I'd rather have it like a nice
You'd rather watch
Newcastle
the
Knights multi, have Kalen for 2 or something, and just
Leave
just
out the
hope.
head-to-head, though.
Just sit
Leave
there
out-
and hope.
Leave out the head-to-head. Blakey, predictions for game 1, mate?
Yeah, I think this will be the toughest. I reckon this is the toughest.
reckon?
No, I mean, other than injuries up at Suncorp,
yeah.
I think it will be tough. But mate, they need to win because it's
Have to.
game 2's in Perth.
Yep.
Yeah,
game
so
2,
it's like,
WA.
It's a must win for the New South Wales. but,
Agreed.
If I'm,
I think they still get them.
What do you give me some numbers and a man of the match? I want a game line and a man of the match
I've
from all
got
three of you.
Queensland winning
Wow.
100%, and I've got it at about 24-10 with Ponga man of match.
Is this?
Oh,
the,
I love that.
So don't tell me I don't know my footy.
You don't watch it, bro.
Jesus.
Bud, what do you got? Game 1 in Brizzy.
Shooting blind, like honestly, I haven't really been paying much attention.
It's
but
okay.
I just the Blues.
Got
Like,
me-
you have to
Cleary.
be the
You
Blues.
got me a close one, or you got a bit of a blowout?
I'm gonna say blowout.
Yeah.
And I think like Cleary in Origin, he just every year he just steps it up.
He's good.
yeah, I reckon this is the year where this is the one thing on his record that he I mean, he's won series, but like he hasn't dominated like Joey did.
It'll be a test for him this year because, like, from what I have watched, like the Panthers are obviously struggling.
Yeah.
So for him to step up in Origin, I reckon it'll be a test for him because he's not really bringing that same form in.
He hasn't really done that at Origin. That's the only thing he really hasn't
like
done
a series,
yet.
dominated a series. But in saying that, it's like it's getting picky. Like
It is.
What is he,
won a
24?
series. It's not like he has
True.
five.
He's so young.
Yeah, he can
Boys,
do whatever he wants.
I'm predicting a Queensland flogging. I think the Blues are going to go up there to Suncorp and they're going to have their pants pulled down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like a 30-4 sort of number.
Oh, you're big dogging me a bit.
Well, I think Munster's having a big game. Yeah, your numbers are too small, bro.
Yeah, wow.
I've got Munster for man of the match to have to put on a clinic. I love him the way he gets around the field.
Wait, was Valentine Holmes selected?
He was.
Yeah, I love that.
I think he's playing wing, and I think the Roosters boy could be in the centres.
Yeah.
That's going to be really interesting. Jacob, did you have a prediction?
Wait.
It's at Suncorp.
Suncorp,
yeah. Blues flogging.
Really?
Yeah.
I like
100%. No.
Give me some
Queensland
numbers.
are going to get.
Yeah, you're asking.
Troll man of the match.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Oh, I
I
love
think
Trell.
Stephen Crichton and Trell will dominate unless Stephen Crichton's still injured. That's still a bit 50-50, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
In which case, Campbell
Graham,
yeah.
like.
He looked good yesterday, just
D.
quietly.
I reckon we're looking at about a 38-10.
Wow.
When you're asking me,
So I big dog you and he just big dog me the other way.
yeah, well, I've got no idea what I'm talking about. So,
Buddy's going to say 50-5, just to beat all of us.
no, you're asking the wrong
Wait,
man.
so
about footy.
like as someone that doesn't watch the NRL much either, other than the Knights, does Latrell just kick a 50-metre field goal and get selected, or is that like
He's a weapon. He's so good, mate.
It wasn't just that. It was the way he turned around, just walked away like it was nothing. Like it was just.
Oh, is that
And
just
the
like you
try
just
sayer-
walk into a New South Wales team?
that was Laurie Dad.
His
Just like,
First
tick,
pick.
pick.
Honestly, other than Latrell was first picked in that team. Mate.
Oh, I think definitely.
Don't you reckon?
Well, I think
Because even Cleary, it's like you got Moses and Luai, like the combination from last year. I know Cleary's obviously front
centers.
runner,
Yeah, I think Stephen Crichton and Latrell probably your
Latrell.
first two lock-ins for sure.
But is Latrell a player that, like, regardless of how he plays, if he's ready, do you
Yeah.
just have him in there?
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Especially
I
at
think you have
centre.
to.
Like at fullback, I would say it's different, obviously.
True. He could single-handedly win the game,
Yeah.
and we've seen that before actually.
when he decides to turn up.
True. But that's what I mean. When? But I think Origin.
Yeah, I think.
Last Origin game he played.
Yeah. True.
Wouldn't
so
know.
good.
2 tries.
True,
So
he
good.
did play well. It's been a busy few days, gentlemen, with sport. Does anyone follow the NBA?
Yep. Yeah.
Blakey,
Love
are you
it.
an NBA guy?
I can't tell you the last time I've watched it.
You're a Celtics man, aren't you, Jay? You a Celtics man? No, that's fucking the other Jay.
Blake
Shut up,
boxes
Bailey.
now, so Blake probably knows the
Bro.
next no limit card.
Yeah.
No,
But are you basketball?
When I used to gamble a bit, I used to watch it, but
Yeah,
I haven't,
yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
been doing that for a while. So it's I don't mind watching it, but I used to pay a lot more attention when I
I
was betting on
love
it.
it.
Yeah, multi.
Yeah.
Mate, how good's
It's,
a multi,
it's
gents?
super entertaining though. Like it's,
And if you are looking to play some multi, Elite Bet Bailey Talks is your code, and it'll get you a deposit match for your first. I'll put the link in the bio. I don't know, I'll put it somewhere,
I love
boys.
it.
I
So.
like that.
That's good.
What was it? Elite Bet.
Elite Bet, yeah, they're giving us the suite for the winning tickets for the tipping comp.
How's everyone going in that?
fuck,
There's
man.
some really good scores getting
I'm
put
having
up.
a shocker this year in the footy.
What type of
ticket.
inside
too.
info do you?
I've seen
yeah.
because
multiple
you're running
people.
it, so obviously you're kinder up the top.
Well, I have the ability to edit
Yeah,
tips.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
so
that's right.
realistically, I like
Hey
it's
guys,
what I say
Bailey
goes.
Talks,
You know
just
what I
gonna
mean?
edit my tips late. Yeah.
Fuck, I think I'm
Everyone
really-
has to get him in by a certain time, and
The
you're
top
just sitting
three
there on
is
the
me and
deadline.
just different names.
I think
Nah.
I'm coming nearly last.
Oh,
in
yeah.
all the comps. Yeah.
Respect.
Well, a few of the boys have just left the comp. Like they've just been losing. I've just
gone
seen.
up.
I've got notifications like Ben Hilly has left. I'm like messaging me like, "Are you all good?" Like it's like round
They're
two.
just sick of
Like,
getting
it's
it-
like
sick
nah.
of
Is
getting
it just
wrong.
NRL? Is that all it is? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Mate, it's Newcastle, mate.
Sorry, I just
You
speak.
know?
I think international.
Have you been tipping Knights?
every time?
Mate, he doesn't watch Origin.
The
never watched
worse, the
Origin.
worse we go, the deeper I go into multis. I'm looking at like 144 to 1, and I'm going like, is this the time? nice LED just down there at Newcastle, and we
Mate,
get
it's like
smashed.
playing the pokies and just going red, and then you keep missing. Red is due.
You know how the
know what
ATM's
I mean?
just out the door? And
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
If that was any further away, I wouldn't be coming back in here. But
You know-
now it's like Newcastle's that close to my house that it's like,
Oh, no.
we go again.
One of the most entertaining things for me is my dad just keeps backing him and just watching him get so furious
Angry.
when they lose. Is
Imagine
so
doing that to
funny.
Penrith or something. Like heaps of people would have at the start of the year would have went
True.
like Penrith.
Yeah,
Penrith,
everyone.
Penrith.
Still doing
Like
it.
you, yeah.
That's us every multi.
Yeah, every single time.
Have you been getting up on Maldies?
Been going
We had a good
I
weekend,
said that
didn't we?
like Maldies then, like Maldies.
Well,
Yeah.
what did we do on the weekend, Blake? We had a good weekend.
Yeah, we've had a couple. We've been going good.
Mate, we were out in the Hunter Valley. We did a wine tour on the weekend, gents.
Yeah.
We
Oh, is
that
stayed
what
at
it was? Is that how
Jindalee
the top
Estate. I
Is
went
that
back.
what the elites do?
I went back to back. I went 2 weeks ago. I did a Hunter Valley wine tour, and then we did the family on the Windred side. You know, VIP sort of thing.
Am I
you
just
know.
a friend?
Mate, you don't watch the Origin, so you wouldn't
saw
have, you
everyone
wouldn't
up
have
there all
come.
getting dressed
They all
up.
watch the Origin,
Yeah,
right? They
must
all
be
watch the
nice.
Origin.
Hunter Valley photos and everything.
I tell you what,
was good.
it's beautiful out there, man.
Yeah.
Buddy, you like it out there, Hunter Valley?
Yeah, I haven't been out there for a while, but I was just about to say, like, those wine tours can get pretty interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
mate.
Wine's a different kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Especially 10 a.m. like on
Stuff will
a...
put you to sleep, man.
Blake
It's
just has
like
like
being
a
in the ring.
sip.
I haven't been out there for... I couldn't even tell you the last time I've
I
been
can't
out
remember the
that
last
way.
time either.
I think you take it for granted a
I
little
went,
bit,
I think
living
I
in
went to Hope
Newey.
Estate.
Yeah, that's one of them, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one.
Not to name drop, but
Yeah, yeah.
Went to Hope Estate once.
Elite
Played the
bet,
vintage a
talk.
couple times.
Yeah. Dreamt of playing the vintage a couple of times.
Boys, in other news, I just want to touch on William Goodge doing the run from
Oh, mate.
Cottesloe to Bondi. I believe he got in this afternoon. You boys up to date with that?
No,
I don't
is
know.
that the same? Is that the same run that Ned did?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the exact same track,
No,
but
it's same, yeah.
he's
yeah.
smoked his score butt.
Like,
Respectfully.
right.
ridiculously.
I mean,
So
that's
good.
crazy to me because I haven't even heard anything about that. And
Yeah.
but then you look at the traction that Ned got.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think
you
it's
know,
because he's not Aussie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know what
It
I
was
mean?
more, Ned was more like, he got traction around the globe, but I think
did.
this guy is like, he does. Have you? I was
He's a
watching
beast.
this morning. I've watched all the YouTube videos. Really
Yeah,
well
yeah.
done, eh?
Mate, it's
Does he
Good
share his
videographers.
Strava stuff?
he
Yeah,
shares
you can-
everything.
You can follow
Yeah.
all of it.
Well, you did a big run, bud. Was it last year?
Oh, that was 2 years ago.
Did you
now.
was
Yeah.
it 50K? What did you do?
I did 240 in 6 days.
Yeah, right. What was that like?
It was fucked.
Yeah.
I'd never.
Your feet were pretty cooked by the end, eh?
I'd never run a marathon before, so I sort of.
Crazy.
The whole thing behind that was the idea just popped into my head when I was in Thailand and because you run so much over there for Thai boxing,
Yeah.
and I just got the idea in my head, and then it sort of just sat with me for a while, and then around the time, like, it's obviously still a big thing all the time, but mental health, like, there was a lot of push
Yeah.
behind that around that time, and just seeing stuff on Instagram. I think in a space of a couple of months, there was maybe 3 or 4 people that I knew that had
Doing it.
taken their own life.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I just decided to pull the trigger on it. I was meant to do it in mid-year, and then I ended up I kicked one of my teammates' elbows at training by accident, obviously, and
Yeah.
ruptured all the ligaments in my strained all the ligaments in my foot.
Yeah.
So then that put me out for 3-4 months.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and then I ended up.
What were you doing? 50K days? Is that what you
I did 40 for the first 3 days, and then on the second day I partially tore my meniscus in my right knee. So I went to the physio, and they were pretty much like, it's like, you need to stop, it's over. And I was just like, no, like, I
Not
can't.
giving up.
Keep going.
I'd set out to do it, and it was weird because it wasn't like a painful thing, but there was just moments when I would be running and my knee would just collapse, and I was just like, because it didn't really. I was probably running on a lot of adrenaline that
True.
too.
You're probably numb almost.
Yeah, so I think I got to like the 4th day, and I think I got like 26 Ks in, and I just physically couldn't go any further. But I only had 1 day. I think it was the 5th day. I had 1 day to go, and I was up near Nelson's Bay.
Yep.
I came back home, saw a physio back here, and he was like, he heavily advised me to stop, and I was like, mate, I've
Nearly
got
here.
1 day to go. So I didn't end up hitting the exact kilometers that I wanted, but
Yep.
I think I set out to get 240. I think I got like 220 or something like that.
Over how many days?
6 days.
Where does that rank in life's challenges? Like in
Yeah.
terms of the hardest things we've done? Is that number
Probably
one?
Probably number one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember, like, looking back at it now, there were so many things that I did wrong. Like,
True,
I
exactly.
I didn't really have anything to go off. I'd never done anything like that before, and I sort of just went out on day one. Day one was obviously quite easy, but in saying that, I'd never run a marathon before, and then I was trying to do 6, so I was like, day one was wasn't too bad. And then day 2, like, I got out of bed and I could barely move. And then I think that was when it hit me. I was like, holy shit, I've bitten off more than I can chew. And then I think it was like...
Let's sign up for this challenge. Day 2.
I think it might have been day 3.
I ain't doing it.
Can you get my leg? Someone get my leg.
Yeah, I got through day 2. Like, day 2 wasn't too bad. And then day 3, I think the first, like, 10Ks, I was in Foster. And I hadn't even hit the halfway mark. And I remember I was like, and because I hurt myself and I didn't get to do it till January, it was hot as fuck. I picked the worst time to do it. So I was like out on
Poor planning. A lot of lessons from this.
Heaps of lessons, because I want to do something like it again. But I think that's another whole topic. But just this whole thing with domestic violence at the moment, like, and how bad it is in like, just across the world, but how it is starting to get more of a spotlight on it now. And a couple of months ago, I sat down and sort of started to plan something out. So that's something that I want to do. But yeah, back to that. Like, I was on the side of the road in Foster, and it was like, I think it was like 8:30 in the morning. It was already like 30 degrees. I was sweating, and I dead set just started crying.
Really?
And I was like, I can't not do this. Like, I've set out to do it, and my knee was fucked, and I was so hot, and I was just like, trying to contemplate in my head. I think I was maybe like not even 100 Ks in, so I had more than double to go.
Well, you're a fucking Foster.
And I just
I hate driving there.
and I just basically got up and just got on with it.
The head noise.
So good.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was crazy. And like, to put it into perspective, like, when going through that, I just remember thinking to myself at the time, like, there's nothing else probably that I'll ever do that's similar to that. So looking back at that now, when shit gets hard, it's like, I've done that. So I can do this. So I always reflect back on that sometimes.
That's really good to use that as motivation and fuel. Yeah. And it's cool to see a lot of people now who are doing these, like, for example, Ned Brockman, who I think started a bit of a trend. Started the Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge. So that's coming up in a couple of months, and that's going to be probably bigger this year than what it was last year, with people getting on board that, raising money. And so cool to see people challenging themselves and using these challenges as a way to raise awareness for things that relate to them.
I think for me too, like, when having a reason that was bigger than you to do it, that was a massive thing. Like, I've said to a few people, like, if you set out to go do something like that, and it's just to challenge yourself, if you don't really have like a really strong reason why, it's probably not going to be enough. But when it's something that you're passionate about and you're doing it for the right reasons, it definitely puts wind in your sails for sure.
Yeah, it's cool to see, because Williams, his mum passed away from cancer, so that's obviously what he's doing it for. But
I've no idea who this bloke is.
That's okay. You don't watch The Origin, mate. You don't know him or The Origin.
I don't really know what any of this is.
I'm just here.
To be and like,
Soul Origin.
For him, like, doing it for that reason, like that, I can only imagine the motivation
100K days
that he's got.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's immeasurable. I don't think it's a word, but
he's done, like, this isn't the only thing he's done. He's done, like, run across America, or like, crazy stuff.
We
like,
might need to do like a
times.
Bailey Talks run, like just the longest run.
Yeah.
Do we talk while running?
Jay, you'll do it, eh? Jay, 50K. Come on, one go. You'll be there.
When I got the idea in my head to do this other one, like, because I remember going out to do that first one, like, having no idea whether I could even run a marathon. Like in that time, like, I've done a fair bit of like S&C and that for fighting. So it was only it was probably like a month ago. I wanted to see, like, I live right near the Broadmeadow racetrack. So I wanted to see, I did 40 Ks 3 days in a row just around the racetrack, just to see how far, like, because the third day broke me. So I just wanted to see, like, if I did that,
where you're at, bit of a baseline.
I wanted to just get a bit of a baseline, and it was hard, but it was like, it was so much easier than when I did it that first time. Because like the one I want to better that one that I did because it was from Port Milk Road in Newcastle. So I want to try to top it, but I just wanted to test the waters to see how well my body would handle those first 3 days again.
Sometimes like when I run on the Fernley and I go from like mine to the TAFE, like I don't know what I'm talking to myself about 3K in. So how do you go when you get to like 40Ks in? Like where does your chat go? Like what do you talk about?
Silence.
I don't know if it's schizophrenia or I'm just running like I'm just going.
Geez, it's been a weird day.
What are you talking about?
I'm not even running.
Don't people listen to music?
Like that's another thing too, because it's an interesting question. Because especially when you're running the same track over and over again, like when Ned just did that recent one that he did where he was just going round and around the same track. I think like when you start somewhere and you finish here, and then the next day you're starting there again, and you keep going, you're always looking in front of you. Like you're always like pushing for that finish line.
Yeah.
For someone to go around the same track over and over and over again, like that to me is almost just as impressive as the actual physicality of it, because the mental strength that you have to look at that other side of that track and go, I've got to run around this another X amount of times. That's crazy. That'd send you nuts.
And doing it solo. I know he had people jump in with him, but I think running with someone else, you can at least chat to him, Kai.
I have to get on the treadmill and like put myself in Italy or something. I need to run somewhere. It's like a bike coming.
I remember I got to a point where I didn't want to talk to anyone. I think because you're in so much pain. I was in so much pain and I had that much head noise that I just wanted the blinkers on. And I can only imagine like when Ned was running through those towns and people were like stopping him and cheering for him and stuff like. Yeah, like you hear him speak about it. He was like, I don't have anything else to give other than what I'm doing. So yeah.
Very incredible.
That's
achievement.
That's like when I look at what I did, like it was nowhere near.
Yeah, but I don't reckon that's the point though. Like everyone's got a different level of that. Like it doesn't have to be.
The hardest thing you've done is just the hardest thing.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
There's no difference between. Do you know what I mean? It's like
I think that's what discourages people from trying to do hard stuff because they see someone like him do that and they go, I could never do that. So they don't want to try. Like I'm like everyone's threshold and everyone's capability is different. But like you said, it doesn't matter as long as you're trying to reach your full potential. That's really all that matters.
It's all in that mind state.
You think it's a lot of like fear of judgment though? Like people like if your best is only this, like that's not very good. Like,
that's why people, mate, don't run.
But if it's your best, and that like like you should be proud of yourself, and people should be proud of you for having a crack.
But also, it comes back to the same thing. What we were saying is like, you're not doing it for other people. Like, don't even tell people you're doing it. Just do it. Like, just try it yourself. It's just between, and you tell your partner, you plan something. Like, you don't have to, unless you're obviously trying to raise money. Like, that's different. But in that case, you wouldn't care about other people's opinion. You're doing it for a good cause.
I want to get out and do a long run, eh?
Let's do one. Let's just all get together.
I'm just very top heavy right now, though. Like I'm just jamming creatine badly at the gym. Like I'm slamming. Mate, I'm literally nearly 90 kilos. I've never weighed.
How many grams?
I'm 90.
Mate, I just double scoop.
I
10 grams roughly.
I'm constantly having to. I constantly have to watch. Like I've got a pretty like my body weight doesn't get above 70.
It's interesting. It's like you're like a horse jockey. Like
I fight at 61 kilos. So I never really get any heavier than 70, 71. Wow. But like I'm still got to get down to 61 for weigh-in day.
What's a cut look like?
So you're cutting 10 kegs.
Yeah, when I first started fighting, I was about 66, 67. That was like 4 or 5 years ago now. And now I'm walking, and I was cutting to 61, but I never really had like the education, like my understanding now of nutrition and how to cut and stuff like that is so much better now than what it was.
You can probably appreciate young fighters who these people having their first pro fight who are going through their first cut and just you're looking at them and you're like, oh man.
I was having this conversation with the promoter down in South Australia the other day, and like it's funny because guys when they first start fighting, like cutting weight, it's new, it's cool, and it's like it's almost they want to do it.
Post a story.
I'm like, man, you get to a certain point where you just like, fuck this.
This
like,
is horrendous.
Cutting weight is it's by a long shot the worst part. Like people think you're getting in there to fight. But the fight is the reward. That's the part that I enjoy. The weight cut is horrible.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Well, how do you?
Yeah.
What do you do? What's your process for cutting weight? Because everyone's different.
My Muay Thai coach is also my nutritionist. So he maps out like a plan. Like we've actually spoke about it the other day because we're going to have to start cutting a bit further. Like because we start like counting calories and doing all that stuff about. It needs to be probably 4 to 5 weeks out. Like your numbers need to get smaller and smaller, but it's also super important to make sure that you're keeping yourself fueled. Like you need to be able to train that like 5 weeks out till fight week is super important. That's when like all the hardest work is done. So
big days, training, because you can't just starve yourself.
No, and I'm like, I usually water load on the Sunday. So like the calories all come down, and then the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm drinking 6 litres of water each day.
6 litres?
Yeah, but it's just...
You just got a piss bucket on your leg, like just attached to your leg, just bang.
And I've learned the hard way now because obviously you don't want to do it, and I used to leave it till like later in the day. So then as the night goes on, like you're trying to sleep and you're just constantly having to get up and go to the toilet.
Have you boys... to sleep on the veranda.
Okay, no judgment question. Have you boys ever pissed in a bottle, like driving?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have?
You're a grub.
No,
I was going to say, that's weird.
Never, no, I've definitely
I've actually been doing it a lot lately, eh?
I haven't done it.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Into it. Like,
no, I challenge myself. Like,
hobby.
Like, I'm going to spend a week not pissing in the toilet this week.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
gonna
solid. What bottle do you go with? Obviously different openings. Like, can you...
Nah. Usually just the smallest ones, because that's the part of the challenge is like aiming, like without getting it on the steering wheel, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How long's the...
Nah, bro, little 1 literies, that's it.
Yeah, no.
Little 1 litre.
Little 1 litre, little 750 mils, pumps. Powerade bottles. So yeah, buddy, back to what we're talking about. Weight cutting. Weight cutting, nutrition is key.
Yeah, so then usually by the Wednesday like I'm usually trying to sit around 66, 65. So like 4 or 5 kilos comes off from nutrition. And then with the water loading, normally by Thursday, you want to be no heavier than 66 because I still need to get to 61.
Right.
So I'm normally between Thursday and Friday, I usually cut about 4 or 5 kilos.
So you're already trimming a little bit days leading into the actual full cut. Gotcha.
And then Friday, obviously whatever you wake up at Friday morning, there's no food, no water that day, and then the rest comes off in the sauna.
Yeah, so you're in the sauna.
What are the weight classes?
In the WBC rankings, which is what we go off, because there's 61.25 is the category that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then 63.5 is the next one up.
Right.
So
how hard would it be to go up?
The problem is like I was explaining this to someone the other day, because obviously the smaller you are, the less weight you can lose.
Yeah.
The bigger you are, like the boys at heavyweight, obviously they've got a lot of weight to cut.
True.
Yeah.
So those boys that are in the 63.5 kilo division, they're quite big because they might cut down from, I don't really know, but
They might walk around at 75.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that like people go, oh, it's only 2 kilos, but I'm like, but you got to look at it in the perspective of those boys might be 75, they're cutting down to 63. I'm so walking around about 70, 71. So on fight day, it's not 2 kilos. It's actually like 5 or 6. Because by the time we like, I usually like if I've got a set of scales every fight, I like to I weigh in at my weigh-in weight, and then the next morning I like to weigh myself to see how much weight I've put back on.
Yeah.
And normally I get back up to 70 kilos on fight day.
Yeah.
So I'm putting on 9 kilos back overnight.
What are you eating?
Just like it's all like fast carbs. So like straight after weigh-in, because your stomach's so messed up from the weight cut. Like everyone's like, oh, you must just shovel it in. I'm like, you can't do that because you just make yourself sick. You need to slowly start putting the water back in, like electrolytes, salt, so that you're rehydrating, and then start introducing like a few lollies. Like you just need fast carbs. So like some lollies, and then one of my favorite things is crumpets with honey. Again, it's just like fast carbs. And then like I have like a meal, so like I'll either have like some chicken with some chips or some pasta or something like that. But like I said, you've got to take it easy because your stomach's like what are you doing to me? Because it's like
Yeah, it's like after a fast.
it's restricted for so long, and then you can't just shovel it back in. I think it was not the fight I just had, but the fight before that in February. I actually went out of the restaurant in Sydney and projectile spewed twice.
True.
So, yeah, and that's the first time.
Mate, that was like me after the weekend on the beers
Shit
and I
ad for the
don't,
in
restaurant.
the garden, mate.
I don't know if it was
Wasn't the pork belly? It was the wines.
Yeah, I don't know if it was from the actual food that I ate or if it was from the way that I maybe ate too quickly. I'm not quite sure, but
We won't blame the food. Let's just say it was a bit quick.
yeah,
you know?
I was like peeking out too because I was like, fuck, like everything that I've just ate, I've spewed back up. So and I've got to fight the next day. So but it ended up not being an issue.
To all of our listeners out there, can you just break down to me? Obviously, it's part of the mixed martial arts bracket. You've got so many different. You've got like your Ultimate Fighter, your UFC. You've got like your jiu-jitsu, your normal boxing, your kickboxing. Where does kickboxing tie in? How are the rules different? And how did you find your love for kickboxing?
It's funny because like Muay Thai and kickboxing are actually, or again, two different things. But
There you go, listeners. See, that's what I'm learning today.
Yeah, like I originally found Muay Thai through, like I started martial arts when I was quite young. Through my pop was quite good at martial arts called Hapkido.
Yeah.
I did that for quite a while, but then I got into my teen years and I was surfing as well. Like I just liked doing other things and sort of once I was old enough to sort of make my own decisions, I was like, I'd sort of just had enough. And but I'm super grateful for him and for that because even though it's a different martial arts, it's still similar foundations, like the kicking and the hip movement and all that's quite similar.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, I think I was heading towards my late teens. Like, as you would know, I got myself in a bit of trouble and just needed a bit of direction with my life. I had a girlfriend at the time. We split. And then there was a gym up at Charlestown called Brotherhood MMA, I think they were called at the time. And went in there, just started doing a bit of a mix of everything. And then it was, the Muay Thai and the kickboxing was the stuff that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't taking it very seriously. I was only training a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
And then a few of my mates were training at Third Eye Muay Thai, which is where I'm at now. And I've been with them for, I think it's 7 years or 6 years. So I walked in those doors and never looked back.
Shit.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are they?
So we've moved a couple of times, but we're in Warrabrook, which is right next to Mayfield. So we started in Mayfield, and then the guy who originally started the gym, he just didn't want to live the city life anymore. And the two coaches that I have now, they were actually training and fighting out of the gym when I started.
Wow.
And now they're the owners. They're no longer fighting anymore, but they're now my head coaches. Walked in there. There's still a whole heap of the original crew that's still with us today. So,
mixed martial arts is one of those sports I think that a lot of people when you start, they hang around for a very long time. It's like a family thing. I've got mates who do MMA and things, and it seems like it's a very tight knit family and community, and you're really there to support each other when someone's got a camp on. You're going in your days off to make sure they get rounds in. And
that's like I just fought obviously, and I'm quite sore, but we've got two boys fighting this weekend, so I'll go back in tomorrow just to do what I can for them.
Will you throw a head guard on because you don't want to reopen any of those cuts?
Oh, I won't be sparring or nothing. It'll just be holding pads and stuff. But I'll have to let all this heal for a while. I've never had cuts this big before, so I don't know how long. I get the stitches out and the staples out in a week, but
the staples.
I'm not sure how. I've got
fucking hell.
Did you see the stapler gun when you walked in?
I'm pretty sure I've grazed my knee once.
So in 5 years' time, like what's the end goal with fighting for you? Like what's the dream?
Man, to be honest, I just love it so much. Like I remember when I first walked into the gym, I went and watched Luke fight, who's one of my coaches, and I remember watching it for the first time, and I was like, I will never do that. Like it was so brutal and so like violent, and that was in the amateurs too. Like they were still wearing headgear and all that kind of stuff. And now, like at a professional level, like we have gloves and that's it. Like there's no protection. Yeah. But I don't know. I had my first fight in I think 2020 or 2021, sort of before COVID. And one of the guy who had the gym at the time, Jacob, he sort of just said to me, he's like, I sort of spoke to him about competing and stuff, and he's like, you need to take it a bit more seriously. Like I thought I was training hard, but I wasn't. And then, when Shay Deckel, who's my head coach now, when he took over the gym, I don't know. I think we worked a similar roster, and I don't know if he sort of saw something in me, and he sort of just grabbed me and he was like, I want to start working together. Yeah. And then I've worked closely with him now for it's been like 5 years or so. And I just had my first fight and just got addicted to it.
It's like you got to prove your worth, hey? Like when you say to your coach, like, for what I've heard anyway, like I want to have a
100%.
fight or I want to go to a comp and I want to roll, it's like, well, you got to show me you're dedicated enough.
Man,
you're not just going to get a fight just because you say you want one.
Everybody wants to be a fighter until they realise what you've actually got to
Process,
do to get there.
hey.
I'm good.
It's
Yeah.
and I think like
No, you got to watch the Origin first.
Yeah.
he always pushed me. He always pushed me quite heavily, and still does. But I think when I went to Thailand and I was in Thailand for quite a while, that's where it really opened my eyes to how full on it actually is.
What's it like over there?
Man, it's like when going over there for the first time, like those guys, they're born and bred into the sport. So like I was getting tossed around and beaten up by people that were like by boys that were in their teen years. And like clinching is a big part of Muay Thai. That's quite like kind of the biggest difference between kickboxing and Muay Thai.
Sure.
And I was just getting so like bashed in the clinch.
Yeah.
And then that's actually become one of my strongest parts of my game now because of those experiences, and also from clinching with Shay, who's 6'4", so
big
like
dude.
I can't move him around like I can.
What do they think of Aussies coming over to?
I think,
like, do they like it? Do they like having?
I think foreigners get a lot more respect now than what they used to.
Yeah.
Because across the globe now, Muay Thai has become quite big. Like it's still not. I still don't personally think it gets the recognition that it deserves because in terms of all combat sports, like I might be a bit biased, but I think it's the most violent. Like
Sure.
It's the elbows and the parts of it that other sports don't have, other disciplines don't have. That's what separates it because elbows are just a game changer. Like you've seen what my head looks like.
True.
From the weekend, like it really only takes you to nick someone with an elbow. I think I've had stitches maybe like 5 or 6 times now.
Yeah.
So that personally for me, that's the scariest part about the sport, but I also like it's the most exciting part of it as well.
What's the difference between sparring, like how hard you go in preparation, like sparring, and then fight night?
Well, for
like
me,
how hard are you going in? Like, because it's such a hard one to like replicate.
You want to know what it's like landing a fucking
like throwing
elbow to the
110%. Throwing an elbow versus like sparring where you're like you can't throw 110%, can you?
I think for me personally, when you do light sparring and it's controlled, technically that's where you improve the most. Like obviously you want to replicate a fight as much as you can. Like there's certain boys in the gym that I've been with for a long time and we can have like hard, solid sparring rounds, but it's still controlled.
Yeah.
Like I think beginners or like guys that are at a lower level, they watch some of the pros spar and they think that they're just trying to take each other's heads off. Like we're still going hard, but it's still controlled. So then when they try to...
You got guards on your legs.
Yeah. So we wear shin guards and 16-ounce gloves.
Yep.
And then I have been to some gyms where they do spar with elbow pads on. So they're throwing elbows at each other. But to be honest, like I've never really sparred with elbows or elbow pads and I've still don't have any issues with throwing, like because you do pad work and stuff and you practice that kind of stuff on pads, so it's sort of just I think like when you get in there, what you've done in the gym and what you've the stuff that you've practiced like shadow boxing and everything, it kind of just becomes instinct. Like you still have to think about what you're doing obviously, but your body will react the same way that it does with the stuff you've done in the gym.
How do you not let ego take over? Because like I feel like it's one of those things. You've probably seen a lot of people come into the gym and start sparring, and like you'd see a lot of tantrums and people going really hard and over. Like, do you see a bit of that?
The thing with those guys is they'll never last. If you come into the sport because you want to be this tough guy that can fight and you've got a point to prove to everybody, you won't last. Because like when I started the sport, I just fell in love with it because I just loved doing it. And like back to the ego side of it, like I've come from a really good family. Like my mum and dad are beautiful people. Like they've raised me to always just be and like try to be a nice, good person. So it never really, I think I've never really had to focus so much on that because for me, I am who I am. And it's funny because I've had people say to me where like I've met them and they're like, I didn't expect you to be like that.
You're too nice.
And I'm like, just because I do the sport, it hasn't changed who I am as a person. I just love it for what it is. And like genuinely, like I think people think you're probably full of shit sometimes when I say this, but honestly, being in the ring and fighting people, I enjoy it so much. And just because I enjoy that and it's the sport that it is, I still am who I am. But
Have you got to have a bit of dog in you though? Like,
Yeah.
are you like?
well, I think that's why it was a surprise, especially for my mum and dad. Like I remember when I told my mum and dad for the first time that I wanted to fight, and my dad was like, I could tell he was like, it's not for you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was never like a little like you know, like a little baby of a kid, but I was never super violent. Like I never.
True.
And then I think when I had my first fight, my dad was just like, fuck, like you know, he didn't really expect it. And then like I think more so for me, I hate losing. I fucking hate losing, man. Like that loss on the weekend. It's a part of the sport. Like I've had losses where I've grown so much more from
True. From the loss, of course.
like, and so that's, you know, that's what I love about it is the competitive side of it. And like the last fight, it's crazy because it's like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, because the last fight that I had in February was, I can't even put into words how I felt after that fight.
Felt.
Like I set my sights on getting the WBC title pretty much. I don't know when I realized that it was possible, that was what I set my sights on. So to finally get my hands on that, especially like the way that the guy that I fought, we had a draw the first time. There was a bit of a build up to it, and then I ended up knocking him out in the 4th round. So it was like a massive, massive thing for me, and I probably rode the high of it for like almost a week.
Yeah,
I didn't drink or anything after it, but I was on such a big high. And then on the weekend, man, like I just like after the fight, I had to go to hospital. I was laying in the hospital. Yeah, I was laying in the hospital bed at like 2:30 in the morning. I was just like, "Fuck this!"
I loved seeing you though after the fight, and it just shows the respect you have for the sport and your opponent. How you're not a dick about it after you lose. Like you're acknowledging your opponent. Like you're positive about. Like that must be really hard to do. Like
I think
because you put in so much time into this, like, and you've just lost. Like,
I think
the last thing you want to do is congratulate them. Like,
yes and no. Like, obviously, like especially like Kai that I fought on the weekend. Like,
Kai
he's
Emerson,
no Kai Matsuda. I didn't even get that.
I'm sweet.
Kai Matsuda, like the guy I fought on the weekend, man, he's such a good guy.
Cool,
and like the first time I fought him, like I think after the first time that we fought, which was about a year ago, that was when I realized how much I really need to switch that off for 10 minutes. And on the weekend, we're good outside the ring, but when you're in there, like you're not in there to hold hands. You're trying to take each other's head off for 10 minutes. So it's like you got to switch that off. And you know, I never want to wish bad upon anyone. So like, you know, like you see them win, it's like obviously you're gutted, but you're also like, it's a massive congratulations to them. And then like when I've had times when I've knocked people out, I'm like, fuck, like I feel a part of me feels bad. It's like,
true.
You know what they're like, you know what it's like to lose. So like, but I think that's just me as a person. Not every fighter's like that. Most fighters, but they probably don't care. But like, I think that's just me as a person. It's like, yeah, you're competitive, you want to win. But then after it, I'm like, shit. Like, I remember the guy that I fought for the state title, like in February, I think I cut him about 4 or 5 times, maybe 3 times with elbows, and then standing there watching him get stitched up. I was like, fuck, like, you know, a part of me felt like shit, and I was like, I apologized to him, and he's like, fuck, who cares? Like, I would have happily done it to you. Like, it's like anything. It's like, it's the sport that we're in, and I don't see a difference between guys that run out in the footy field and try to take each other out in the footy field, and then we do it in the ring. Like people, it's the same thing. It's just a competitive sport. At the end of the day, we're trying to be, like I'm personally just trying to be the best version of myself. I don't have any ill will towards the people that I'm fighting.
Can you go back and describe what it was like to get that big back piece done in the middle of Thailand, wasn't it? Is that
my tattoo?
Yeah, your tattoo on your back, and like the journey and like what that kind of means, or like, because obviously if we look at it, I'm like, I've got no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because people think that those tattoos are tied specifically to Muay Thai, but it's not. It's just you just see a lot of Muay Thai fighters get those tattoos. And I just, for me personally, like I love Thailand. I love that place. Like I've spent a lot of time over there now, and I just like I love that.
Saki?
Oh no, I'm not even gonna go down that. The promoter
just
that
kidding,
I fight for in Sydney, they gave me the nickname. I had absolutely no no say in this at all. The Fresh Prince of Pattaya. Pattaya's like the party capital. It's where all the prostitutes and stuff are. There's literally like no reason as to why I got given that name.
Can I tell you a quick story? Like I got a massage salve, right, at an Asian, a Thai massage joint. Yeah. And finishing off the massage, she's behind me. And she's like, all right, can you sit up? And I was sitting up. And she gets up on the bed behind me. And she's like, it's like she's putting her hooks in. She's going to like take back. And I'm like, mate, I'm sitting there. She puts one leg in my guard, like from behind. And she's like, all right, lift your shoulder up.
Yeah.
I've never felt so vulnerable in my life, mate. She had one arm around the neck.
And they
she
twist you sideways.
She was twisting me sideways, bro. And I was like,
that's a Thai massage. Yeah,
it was a full blown. And I was like, I had some intrusive thoughts.
Wait,
I was
she
like,
oiled up in that.
Mate, I was like, she's gonna drug me here. I'm gonna be like a sex doll or something.
I thought I was going somewhere else there.
Yeah.
But mate, she had me. You can imagine me, mate, just sitting there like half asleep, like and she's twisting me. But you're right. It's like the traditional like Thai.
I just loved the way that it looked and the same thing for me.
I would have looked so fucked doing that. I would have looked terrible.
The tattoos, like I love the way that it looked, and I really like. I personally thought it was connected to Muay Thai, but then once I like my coach explained it to me, it's like it's just like it's got nothing to do with Muay Thai. So yeah, it's done. What it is like they do it with this traditional stick and poke. So it's a long stick and they dip it in ink and it's like so it's very.
I remember watching the video of it.
And it's very very painful. Like I've got a fair few, but that was
sore.
I wasn't sure if it was because of the spot that it was because it's on my back or if it's the way that they do it. It's probably a combination of the two. But I got it done in two separate sections. So I got my first ones done in 2022. And then I got almost a year later, I got the rest of it done. And fuck, man, it's easily the most painful tattoo that I've ever got. Yeah.
And is the headpiece optional that you wear before?
The Mongkong is a part of it's been a part of Muay Thai like forever. And if you are fighting in Muay Thai, you should be wearing a Mongkong out to the ring. Like it's and there's rules behind it. Like it's not to touch the floor for females. Like there's different rules for it's like it's very like sacred and they get the Mongkongs blessed and there's certain things that happen like if it hits the ground and stuff like that it's meant to be like there's a lot of rules behind it and it's a very very traditional part of
because I see a lot of it and I was like there would be some type of meaning
Muay Thai like and the tradition that's behind Muay Thai like when you see guys do their Waikuru Muays like where they it's like it's a acknowledgement of their teacher and stuff. It's so when you watch it and you've got like appreciation for it, it's so cool to watch. Especially like when you watch Thais do it and they do it like that's like me being super passionate about it. Like when you watch it and like to other people like they see it and they're like it's just some like thing that they do. They're like, what are they doing? Especially with the music and stuff. But when you have a little bit of an understanding about it, it's so cool.
It's like a dance, stuff. Like a haka, or is it like?
It's hard to explain.
It's like the rub on the rope, isn't it?
Yeah, it's paying respect to your teacher, and that's a pretty special part of the sport. And that, like, it's funny, like you go to some shows, like amateur shows, where they want guys like they're in a rush and stuff, and they don't want that, like they don't want you to seal the ring or do any of that sort of stuff. But it's like it's Muay Thai. Like if you want people to fight Muay Thai, that's the stuff that needs to come with it as well. Yeah.
So do you you mentioned before after the fight that you won, you didn't drink.
Yeah.
Do you drink now?
So like my first probably 10 or so fights, I would always almost always go out and drink. Like I would always go out and party and celebrate. And I can't remember the first time that I didn't drink, but I remember hearing someone speak about it where they were like, they didn't go out and drink after this fight and they just had so much more of an appreciation for it. And I was like, fuck, I tried it and I was like, shit, I think for me now, like, especially when I fought in October for the WBC state title and we had a draw, I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life and then had a draw, which obviously is not what I wanted. I went back to Newcastle and ended up having a massive bender with my mates and left my mate's place at like 9 o'clock the next morning and I was at his place the next morning. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I started seeing a sports psychologist and we've sort of mapped out this 3-year plan for me to possibly like to get as far as I can. I really want to win a world title. And a part of that is like no alcohol. It's like as I've gone on and I've reached like new steps in my career, I've realized like how important those little 1%ers are, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
completely agree.
yeah, like after I fought in Thailand at the end of the year, and then when I got matched, I knew straight away in October that my first fight back in Australia would be for the WBC state title. And I made the decision. I was like, no matter what happens, win, lose or draw, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
And then I won that fight by knockout. And then I remember like my mate, we drove back to Newcastle. He drove, and I had no intention of drinking. And I remember I was just driving in the car on the way home back on the freeway, and I just started crying. I was like, I had that belt in my lap that I'd wanted for so long.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it and I just started crying. And I was like, that feeling like man, I can't really describe it. Like I got home and I got into bed and I couldn't sleep, and I ended up going up to Dixon by myself at like 6 o'clock in the morning and just had a coffee, and like I hadn't had any sleep. Yeah. And I was just sitting there watching the sunrise, and I was just so grateful. And it's like I think for me, like when you do anything like that and then you drink or you take, you get on it or whatever, you're riding the high of the alcohol and the drugs. It's not, you're not riding the high of what you've actually done. Yeah. And I think that's when I realized a while ago, like, it's fun. Like obviously you go out and you drink and everyone's celebrating what you've done, but you're not actually like fully taking in what you've done, and you're not really understanding how proud you should be of yourself to do something that you're proud of because you've mastered it with alcohol. Yeah. So I think for me now, like any sort of like any fight really, like even in South Australia, I didn't really plan on drinking, win, lose or draw, but there's obviously things that I want to do and places that I want to go, and those big milestones, like I won't drink maybe the next day or a couple of days later, but have like 24, 48 hours to really soak in what you've done and enjoy it while you're sober, because you appreciate it so much more.
Yeah. I think you had to have the bender to appreciate not having one as well.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. Like, this isn't the feeling that I want.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember
maybe associated it with a loss as well, which kind of like fuels the wins and makes the losses worse as well.
I think like, because at the time I was like, fuck, like I was drinking. I was like, I should have that belt. I should have that belt here. And then when I won and I did it sober, I was like, I looked back on that October fight and I was like, I'm actually really glad that I didn't win it that night, because I would have got drunk and got on it and had it, and it would have been fun. Yeah. But then to appreciate it sober the way that I did in February, I was like, fuck, this is so much better.
Absolutely.
100%.
It's a cool realization, that.
Yeah.
And it's also cool you're using a sports psychologist. What has that been like? And what have you learnt with the sports psych?
So I think like it was not something that I ever really like thought about or focused on. And then this guy, Frankie, like massive shout out to Frankie, because he's been so good for me. But my coach, he's like a business coach as well. And my coach was like, he's now got his degree in sports psychology, and my coach was like, I really think that this is someone that you should talk to, because man, like the difference between like you can get to where I'm at a physical level, but then the difference between like where I am and where these guys are up here, it's mostly mental.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think like working with him, like my coach said to me, he's like, you need to work with, I think you should talk to this guy. I was like, yeah, okay. Like didn't really have much expectation. And then man, I don't even really know how to explain it, but just the way that he talks to me and the way that the conversations that we have and the tools that he's given me, I think it's just really sort of made me realize, with still being humble at the same time, but how good I actually am at the sport and how much potential I actually do have.
Can you give me an example of a tool or tools?
So yeah, like he's just really, it's I think the biggest thing for me has been like the self-talk, like the way I speak to myself.
Sure, that's a good one.
For an example, like, when stuff's getting hard and I would used to say to myself, like, don't you fucking stop, like stuff like that. Yeah. And then like, it sounds probably like corny to say, but like changing the way I speak to myself and being like, you can do this. And just those little 1%ers, and like, I'll go to say certain things to myself and then I'll change the way that I talk.
Do you think you're more conscious of that now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. And like, that's the first example that I use, because I still do that all the time, where I'll go to talk to myself a certain way and then I change the way that I talk to myself. And then he's just like, he's given me, what he wanted me to do was to set out the 3 goals that I want in the sport. Like what you said, like where do you want to end up when this is over? and like to sit down and because I've never really had much of an expectation of where I wanted to go, and things have just really happened like really quickly in the last like 2 years. Like I've been given some big opportunities and it's worked out really well. And then like talking to him, like I sat down and like my biggest goal, I want a WBC world title. That's what I want. So then he was like, you need to figure out what you need, like 10 affirmations that you need to live by every day that are gonna get you there. Because it's all good to say in 2 years that you'll get a phone call to say that you get a WBC world title shot. And but what have you done in those 2 years before that moment happens? Like you can't be ready. You can't get that phone call and then be like, all right, now I'm going to get ready. Like if that's what you want, you need to start looking at that now and doing what you need to do every single day to put yourself in a position so that when you get that phone call, you're ready for that. True. So like we sat down and we figured out like the 10 things that I need to do, that I need to live by day to be able to put myself in that position. So just planning, self-talk and just realizing like, how that I am good at this and I do have that self-belief now and I think, it just makes you step it up a notch.
So do you have like a kickboxing Dana White? Muay Thai Dana White, like a promoter that like you go to get the best fights, or someone you have to impress, or like
a manager,
like who's the big dogs in Australian Muay Thai kind of thing.
So the biggest show currently in Australia would still have to be Rebellion Muay Thai, which is down in Melbourne. I fought on their show twice. Second to them now would be 1774 Promotions in Sydney, and they're the guys that like
That was your Feb fight? Is that right?
Yeah. And they're probably like the guys that pay, like, you know, each state sort of pays attention to their guys. So like they're the guys that like every time they put a show on, they'll match me up, like try to give me so there's not like one specific person that has all that power, if that makes sense. Like Queensland's got their guys, WA's got their guys, we've got our guys, Melbourne, South Australia. Like the promoter that I just fought on, the show I just fought down in South Australia, Carly, like she's cool. Like they looked after us so well down there, like put us in a really nice hotel. The venue was sick. The whole show was just run so well. So there's not any one specific person, but there's just some promoters that do it better.
So they match you up with someone. Like what happens if you're like, it's your third fight or second fight and you're just do they just throw you in the deep end sometimes, throw you under the bus?
That's the best part about Muay Thai because it's so evenly matched. Like you'll see a lot of Muay Thai records where it'll be like 15 wins and 10 losses because they're putting the best guys against the best guys and these middle guys against these guys. Like not to shit on boxing, but like you see it a lot happen in boxing where
Jake Paul.
Where a guy
kind of like Dana,
where a guy like who's 6-0 will be versing a guy that's 0-3.
True.
And there's specific situations that I could talk on, but I won't because it'd probably just get me in trouble.
What are you up at a concept now?
But,
what's that?
What's your record up at concept after 3 rounds?
I'm fighting with the 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So that
you're holding the pads for them.
That's the best part about Muay Thai, in my opinion, because even though the guys in Sydney, 1774 Promotions, they want to give me the best opportunities and they want to give us the best opportunities, they'll still make sure that we're getting challenged. Like my first fight here in Australia as a professional, I'd had 4 fights, 4 wins in Thailand. I fought a Thai who's still living in he's a trainer at PTJ gym in Sydney. I think he'd had 120 fights when I fought him. So like,
120 fights.
Throw the elbow.
So like,
that brother is battle tested.
Yeah, but that's another thing too. Like the big records in Muay Thai are not a massive deal because they've been doing it since they were kids. So like there's and Muay Thai is like super, like I've had 25 fights in 3 or 4 years, maybe 4
which
or 5
is crazy because like
it's
MMA,
quite a few.
It's
and that's with COVID in the mix as well. Like I had a few fights before COVID shut everything down. So like I probably would have had maybe like 40 fights if COVID wasn't a thing. Maybe not that many, but that's the best part about, one of the best things about Muay Thai is even though they're giving you challenges, it's still within your reach. Like you see guys in boxing that are like 7-0 and they're versing a guy who's 1-5, and it's like,
exactly.
why the fuck are you in there?
It's a bad matchup.
Yeah, like, you know, they're setting guys up to have these O records.
Hectic
like,
records,
Yeah, the
yeah.
boxing O. I don't think. I mean, I'm speaking on stuff that I don't really have much just from observation, but the O isn't as important in boxing as what it used to be.
Yes.
But it's still happening a lot where you see these guys that are getting in there with guys they shouldn't be in there with.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have-
What's sorry.
No, you're right. You go.
All right. Thanks, Omar.
Actually, I'll go. I'm joking.
What's the biggest thing you
Actually,
need
I'll
to? What's the biggest thing you need to improve to get to where you want to get to?
I think one of the biggest thing in Muay Thai or any combat sport is heart. Like, if you are very technically skilled, but you don't have that push when shit gets hard, you'll get found out pretty quick. Like, I think it's a sport where, yeah, like you have the preparation with your coaches and your teammates and you do all the work in the gym, but when you get hurt in the ring and you have to push, if you don't want it and you haven't got heart, you'll get found out pretty quick.
So technically, there's like you're pretty like you're up to where you want to be in most things, like different facets of Muay Thai.
Yes and no. Like definitely no. Like there's always stuff. Like I'm always going to be my harshest critic, and the same with my coach. Like my coach always wants the best for me, but he is very, very critical of me, and that's how it should be. Because if you have a yes man and someone that just praises everything that you do, that gets you fucking nowhere. Like,
would he say it's like your kicks? Not that anything's a weakness, but what would he say technically? Like kicks, punching, like elbows, clinching.
Like there's a certain style that he works on with me now because we've figured out what's best for me.
Yeah,
but it always changes. Like I say to people, especially like when they're coming up or when they start training, like you're like certain things, like say for example, like your left kick may be better than your right. If your right kick starts to get better than your left, you're improving. You know what I mean? Like
true.
you should like it's the rule of thirds. It's like a third of the time you should have a shit day, the other third you should be average, and the other third you should be good.
Yeah,
if you're having way too
cool
much
theory.
in those other, like if you're having one of those things way more than the other two, something's wrong.
Yeah,
so
something's out.
like
That's
I think that's a big thing for me, like with sports psychology, is like not letting the bad days get to you, because you're probably going to have more shit days than you're going to have good days. But those shit days, when you push through and you get it done, that's where you improve the most. And then like some days I'll feel so shit going into the gym and I'll have a really good session.
Yeah.
Some sessions I'll feel really good and I'll have a shocker. So
Yeah, it's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
It's like
It's always-
kayak golf. Yeah,
Mate, it's
It's
like making
always-
a 6-footer.
yeah, like that's like you're
It's like
always
first tee off at Belmont, mate, and I just pull cock into the sticks. Like,
fuck,
this is how
that's
today's gonna go.
When you're shaping up to someone, what body parts are you trying to protect the most when it comes to like? Because if I just get a swift kick to the shoulder, I'm out. So like you obviously need to rely on your shoulders.
Yeah.
They're going to take a lot.
I don't have
Forearms.
any like major injuries that I've ever had where like I've got compromised body like a compromised body, but your leg definitely is a massive thing, because like you cop a few good solid leg kicks. Like on the weekend, actually, like Kai was kicking my calf, which in Muay Thai is not actually something that's used very often.
Calf
So that
kick.
was a new thing for me that I've never had to deal with, and kudos to him. Like it really threw me off my rhythm. So that's something that I'll definitely have
Does
to.
that is that the low calf kick where
Yeah.
It basically shuts your leg off, like you can't move?
Yeah,
it, or you
like
can't
it
feel
didn't. I never felt like I was in trouble. I never was like, fuck, if I
Yeah.
get 2 or 3 more of these, it's over. But I was like, every time he did it to me, it like would stop me and I would have to reset. Like my calf's like double the size of the other one today.
Yeah.
So like that's definitely your legs and elbows. Like I said, elbows before are a game changer. Like if you land a good elbow on someone, it can change the momentum of the fight so quickly.
So do
especially the way people react when they see their own blood too.
True,
Like
true.
when I got cut on the weekend, my face just started. You would have seen the
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
My
yeah.
face just started pouring out with blood, and I was like, "Fuck! I've got to do something special to flip this. So it can either go one way or the other. Like it can either put people off and they're like they don't want to be in there. But I just remember the blood running into my eyes. It was just poor, like it was pretty hectic, and I was like, I need to try to get this back. Like I need to try to flip it in my favor. Obviously, I wasn't able to do that, but they're just a game changer because like someone said to me not that long ago, it's like a knife fight pretty much because like if you as soon as you graze someone or touch someone with an elbow, there's like probably a 95% chance you're going to cut them.
Yeah, exactly. Do you watch much MMA?
Not really.
I mean UFC, sorry.
I used to, but like more so now I'll watch like the high level stuff. Like, not really like the grappling and stuff. Like you said before, like with the footy, I don't have a very good attention span when it comes to stuff like that. So like off the top of my head, like for example, like Justin Gagey, Dustin Poirier, or Dustin's and Max are fighting again. Like that I'll 100% watch.
What about Pereira?
Yeah.
Because he uses so much of like kickboxing and stuff, which would obviously relate.
Yeah,
so
specific fights and specific matchups I'll definitely watch. But like an average UFC card, unless I've like I might lay up on the lounge on a Sunday and watch it, but I'm probably not paying 100%.
Bro, Sean Strickland's pretty like
he's fighting Izzy again. I'm pretty sure.
Weird like boxing setup.
Yeah,
I don't watch UFC.
It's funny because there's all
You
different.
don't watch
like,
Origin.
No, I don't watch UFC.
Oh, do you watch it?
I just stare.
What do you do?
I just stare at walls.
I just serve.
Just run 3K, run out of things to think about.
I'm just
play a bit of
mentally
golf.
tough. I just stare at walls all day.
What's that?
Yeah, so there's all that's the thing. Like people who like you hear me talk about footy. Like I'm not super educated on the footy and stuff, but it's the same with combat sports. Like people see boxing, Muay Thai, all this stuff, and they sort of just tie it into the one category. Yeah. But in amongst it all, there is so many different styles and so many different ways that things are done. Like jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't have a clue what's going on with jiu-jitsu.
It's so different,
But people think because I do Muay Thai that I might know things about stuff that I actually don't.
Yeah.
Just goes to show the elite levels of each discipline. It is so different to all the other disciplines.
Yeah, it's funny because like I talk to boxers like Brent Walton, who's a good mate of mine. He's trains just down the road here. Like when I go to do boxing sparring, like same with Jake Biddle, like a few of those boys, I'm like, when I'm in the boxing ring and I'm boxing sparring, like it's their discipline.
Yeah.
Man, I find that so hard, like to be like tired and not to be able to use my kicks or my elbows or my clinch. And like, it's a different sport. And like I say to them, I'm like, I have so much respect for guys like that are in the deep waters that do these 10-round boxing fights and stuff like that. And then they'll say to me, they're like, what do you mean? Like you elbow each other? And I'm like, you know what I mean?
Kicks
and
it's all relative,
But like when I can use everything that I know and be able to give myself time and set things up and use things properly, that's where I feel comfortable. You put me in just a straight boxing fight where someone can push me up against the ropes and I can't use the other things that I've got. Fuck, man. Like I've had some sparring rounds where I'm just like, get me the fuck out of here. And like it's good for me. Like it tests me and it's a different area for me to try to get better at. And it's definitely made me improve as a fighter. Yeah. But like when you understand that there's very, very different styles and there's so many different styles in amongst those styles.
True.
I'm blending them all.
Yeah.
Like I went to a fucking martial arts gym and I'm like, I've seen this shit before. Like this is all the same. I remember I was taking a kid to is it called Alpha?
Yeah,
over
Alpha
in
MMA.
Cardiff.
Yeah,
I think it is, or somewhere out there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, I'd tumble with all these blokes. Easy.
Crazy, man.
No idea.
I'd roll them.
But it's funny, like when back to the ego thing you asked me before. It's like since I've been doing this sport, like I was never the sort of person that would give anyone any dramas anyway.
No.
But it's so funny. Like I've had a lot of times where being the size that I am, like I'm even now, like I'm still quite little, and I'm a lot bigger than what I used to be when I was younger. But like the amount of people that like I don't go out much, but just in certain situations where there's just so many guys that are just looking for trouble.
Oh yeah,
and it's
bro.
so funny because never have I felt the need to ever do anything about it. I'll usually just laugh and walk away. It's so funny. It's always the people that don't know what they're doing are the ones that have got the biggest ego and the ones that are always out looking for drama. And I've only ever been put in the situation once where I've actually had to do something about it.
True. Sorry. What'd you do?
I don't know. Like, it was, like, long story short, it was just at a house party where this guy just, like, to be fair, like I was at the pub with, I think I was at the pub with, like, it was Fauzi and all that.
Really?
This is funny. This is funny because, like, not everyone knows this story, but
true.
There's certain people that do. But there was, like, I took Fauzi and that to this house party at my sister's house.
Yeah.
Which this is where it was fucked because my sister was like, yeah, come around, like, bring some friends, blah, blah. I didn't think anything of it. Like, I don't know even if maybe you were there. Like, this was years, not at the party, but, like, we were all at the
pub.
I think you might have been there.
This was like 3 years ago. Could have been.
We were having a drink at the Prince, and yeah, I said, who wants to come to this house party? Like, I think KP, like, you all sort of left, and there's like me, Fauzi, and Rory, and a few troublemakers. Went to this house party, and I went out the front to make a phone call, but prior to that, like, I could feel a little bit of tension in the room, and I was like, fuck, I probably should.
With a few of the blokes?
Yeah, just like my sister's boyfriend's friends and a few other people, and obviously knowing both sides. Like, I love my sister's boyfriend. He's such a good guy, and all his friends and everything like that. Yeah. And then went outside to make a phone call. Long story short, heard like a scream come from inside the house. I was like, fuck me. Like, I sort of just knew straight away. Yeah. And then I have no issue saying this because I can't stand him, but my sister, one of my sister's good friends, her ex-boyfriend, they're no longer together anymore. Sure. But he's just an absolute tool, like always going out in town, always starting on people, and just I'd never personally spoken to him. Yeah. And then just like I sort of tried to break up the fight between me and my sister's boyfriend and Fauzi was the first two that started. Of course it was Fauzi. And then, this guy's basically come up and tried to swing at me and just basically was just being a fuckwit. And I kind of just was like, you know, like, it's all good, like, leave it, blah, blah, blah. Went out the front, and then he's come back out and started carrying on again, so I just fucking whooped him. Did you? Yeah. And, like, then, like, I just... Like, whooped him? Yeah, and, like,
What'd you hit him with?
Oh, I can't remember specifically, but and then my sister's screaming at me, trying to pull me off, and then I was quite drunk, so then I got a bit emotional because I was like, I fucking thought I was doing the right thing by just coming to have a drink with everyone, and then this has happened, and then, like, I think one of the other boys went down the road, and Rory maybe fucking got into him, and it was just a shit. It was just a shit
just
show.
Just a typical a house party, like.
Bro, I can't stand that, like.
And I felt like the biggest piece of shit after it too. It was just pointless and dumb. And I remember one of the other boys that I know that also trains, and he was there at a different gym, and he was like, "You've got to go. Like, you can't be here because like I can get in a fair bit of trouble for stuff like that." True. And not even just for that reason, but like I just don't see the point in it. Like you hit someone and they fall over and they hit their head, and there's just no one ever wins. Like obviously there's
different if it's defending yourself.
100%. There's obviously certain situations where you would have to do something, and like I'm very protective of my sister and family and stuff. Like when that comes into play, I think it'd be a different story. But if it's just some guy that's mouthing off at me, I'm just like, whatever. Like I don't
can't
care.
Stand
like
drink it, like, you know, the boys that drink and they just get into trouble and they're just like, bro.
But there's just always an ego thing. You know? Like it's just an ego thing. It's like you have a few drinks, and then like the way that I look at it with people like that, I'm like, you don't think much of yourself. Yeah. So you're trying to start on everyone to prove a point that you don't even believe. Like
100%.
Like because I find the more that I drink and the more that I got, like I don't go out much, but the more I drink, the friendlier I am.
Yeah, 100%.
And the more I just want to be around good people and have a good time. So then when you get these guys that are just going out looking for trouble, I'm like, mate, just fuck off. Like, yeah.
So I'm saying quiet.
Rum rage.
That was actually one of the best things I think, like the lockout law's done, but in relation to like where people are going at certain times, and then how much people are drinking late at night. Like usually all those things when people are getting king hit and stuff were like
after midnight.
And the one thing I say to people is like, it takes more of an effort, I feel like, to go out and to be a dickhead than it is just to be a decent person.
To be normal.
It takes more
Some
of an effort.
really like that, and people thrive. It was a pretty bad culture in Newcastle for a while, I reckon.
I remember at one point,
it used to happen quite a bit when we were growing up.
I think at one point when I was like in my early 20s, I'm pretty sure SJ's was the #1 rated most violent place in New South Wales.
Really?
So Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle was bad. Was real bad.
Yeah,
Jeez,
a couple of the boys,
me, bro. I was at home.
Kinner, who we just had on the pod. I've been doing some boxing with him. I'm hopeless.
Here we go.
But anyway, I've been having a crack.
Talk yourself
up,
doing?
No, bring it up. Show us up. Can we get the pads up? I've been getting
Bonnie
confused by
sends me
Blake.
videos.
I've seen videos of him with
It's
his.
so addictive though, like, because I've never done anything, like, I played golf my whole life. Any sort of training I do is in the gym, still do that kind of thing. But just learning something new and watching and just seeing how low of a level I am compared to these other guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is actually, this is so cool.
I think that's like what I like when I started too. It's probably like what I fell in love with. It was all brand new, and I definitely get times now where it has become like more of a chore for me. Like it's a bit more like
It's like anything, eh?
Yeah, so like I've definitely had times where I've had to like rediscover the love for it, and it's funny because losses will do that to me. Like when I lose a fight and I'm like, fuck, all right, like, you know, I've got a lot that I need to get better at, and I want it. That's what makes me want to improve. But yeah, like I think it's the same with anything. Like when I started doing S&C, like for Muay Thai, at one point, like I really enjoyed that so much more because it was something that I only did twice a week. It was new, it was exciting because it was different. So it's I think it's like that with anything, but I think more so in like combat sports because I don't think people realize how vulnerable you can be until you do something like that.
100%.
And it's very exciting.
That's what I was thinking. Like when I was,
That was me with my massage this hour. Like that's literally what I thought.
She's coming back.
That's what I was thinking, mate.
You might need a
I
lesson.
walked into a jiu-jitsu parlor. Like, mate, she had me, mate. She had a hook in, one arm around.
She obviously knows what she's doing. She's obviously rubbed Muay Thai boxers or like Muay Thai.
She kept
fighters
saying,
before.
"You got big, strong muscles." I said,
Don't touch
what are
me.
you weighing now?
"Me, bro, big."
What is
like
it?
80, 87?
87.
Is that big?
Yeah, yeah, bro.
What do you got?
I'm 96.
Are ya?
96.
Yeah, all fucking
Yeah, but you've been
muscles.
feeding baby. Like you've been busy, mate. You're a dad, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the dad. Probably got the dad.
Yeah.
bod.
Yeah.
Apparently,
There's
that's
nothing wrong with it, mate.
Yeah,
Real
apparently,
layers on
apparently
that.
that's
Danny would like that. Danny likes dad bod.
Bit of cuddle.
apparently that's in
Cuddle,
now.
bit of
Yeah,
grab.
that is it.
Girls like the dad
Yeah.
bod.
Yeah,
these
yeah.
days.
Don't be
Oh,
ripped
good.
up. Don't be don't be ripped up. That's not doing you, Ethan.
Should have wore a singlet then.
I should have worn nothing.
Yeah.
Should have come from your massage. Thanks. We'll wrap it up because it's been like an hour and a half, I think. Jay, is that pretty? Yeah. So thanks, Buds.
Jay, do you have
That
any questions for Buddy? No, sitting over there, no microphone. Sorry, I just felt dog not asking you if you have any questions. No,
Any
that's all
final points, gents? Any final questions? Queries?
I'll probably go none.
No, you're good.
Yeah, sorry, that looked like I was going somewhere.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
really
appreciate
appreciate
you
it.
coming on, bud.
No, I appreciate you having me. Like I can sit down and talk leg off a chair. So
Oh, bro. So
Sit
good,
it-
so good we too.
I can sit here and talk all night.
So good we, but you know,
I
some of us
think
gotta get home to their missus. So
it's been a good break for me being on this podcast because last time I was in here, I was talking about COD and shit, and I don't know.
flashbangs.
I actually felt like I got
flashbangs.
benched for a bit. Like I actually felt like I was barred. I was like, "Hey Bailey,
Mate,
I'm a
someone
free."
get
and-
him off.
Yeah, I was like left on red a couple times. I was like,
Missed the state of origin.
"Must have been the spray."
Driving home thinking about what Kai was saying, just in my brain. So flashbangs. What?
Why am I driving backwards? Like, what is
Bro,
going
when
on?
one
Why
of
would you not
when one
reply
of
to
the
me?
when one of the reels comes out and you're like, oh, I did not say that.
Oh,
You're like
yeah.
swiping up, like get away.
There's a couple there, and I was like,
There's
what?
been a few where I'm like, I get all my
saying,
clips.
I'm
and
sure your
like,
viewership's
fuck, what
and
am I gonna-
audience have gone like, "Oh, interesting."
What am I gonna post
informative.
this week? I've got nothing to post. So, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
bud.
thanks for coming
It
on,
was,
buddy.
you know, I really enjoyed hearing just more about learning more about you because I know you, like we know each other quite well, but hearing more about actually your discipline and what you do behind the scenes has been really cool. So.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing because like my social life, I don't really get out that much, and like it's not something that I really like strike up a conversation with people about. So
True.
to get on here things like this and places like this and speak about it, like it's pretty cool because I don't really talk too much about it, and like people obviously see what you do, but they don't get like much of an insight.
the
on it.
inside
It's probably the
info,
same,
sure.
you know, with what you do at
Yeah,
the level that
100%.
you're at. Like everyone sees the good parts, but they don't really actually know what goes
True.
on.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel like talking to the boys about. Well, the boys know, but like, talking on the podcast about everything, all the behind the scenes stuff that people don't.
Yeah,
see.
and I think a big thing for me too is like when I talk to people about it, I get more of a like appreciation for what I'm doing too.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Even just talking about it.
yeah,
yourself,
you don't really think about it too much. And some days I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go to training. Like, you don't want to do certain things. But then when you sit around and talk to people about what you do, I'm like, I actually love what I do.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like that's another thing. Like, I learned to appreciate Blake early on because it was like, this is his job, and it's like so solely dependent on Blake. And at one stage, you just have to do so many hours at doing the same thing without any benefit. You know,
Yeah.
like same as you. Like you've got a full-time job as well, I'd imagine, or you've got a part-time job, whatever it is. You still have to put the same amount of energy you put into a part-time, full-time job into your hobby, which then turns into it. Like, there's just so much behind it.
And I think that's a hard for people, like, thing for like my friends and family or like partners and stuff to accept, because like a lot of people don't understand it, and I'm sure you probably do. And it's like, it's one thing that I've really had to like think about over the last probably a couple of years, where I've had to say to people, like, you know, I don't expect you to understand. Like, I'm sorry for certain things that I can and can't do, but it's my life. And like, I love what I do. And there's not a single person on this earth that I would change it for.
They will understand it when you're holding the world title, mate.
True.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people,
and if they don't, we will. So
I think that's the thing with a lot of sports, is like, people want to be a part of the good times, but they don't realize like what you've actually got to do to get there. And more so, like, my friends and family that have seen me at my lowest when I've gone through losses in hard times and stuff. And it's like, those are the people that you want around when the good stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I tried to be like friends with Blake when he was on Live, and then it just kind of like, it was like,
it was like the podcast when he talked about the flashbang stuff.
Yeah.
No replies. Well, thanks everyone for listening, tuning in. This has been episode 31 for Bailey Talks. Buddy, thanks for coming on, boys. Thanks for being here. Hopefully Kai's back next week. Kai will be back.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll just send out the email now. So.
I might get the debut. She might have to sit over there or something.
We hope you guys have enjoyed today. This will be out on Wednesday. If not, stick around. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you.